everyone, welcome to Wing Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've all decided to join me today. Today we're going to do our 7th set of alternatives for the January 2026 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Special Delivery. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you done this as intended. But we're going to change things up, so let's go ahead and get started. So while I'm getting this stuff out here so we can start, if I could ask you, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would, because I would love to have you join us. So we are going to start with a white card base today, basic white, that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a good burnish so it lays nice and flat. Got a piece for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to stamp on that here in a minute. And I've got our first layer. It is also basic white, 4 by 5 1/4. And I have run this through an embossing folder. That is the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. And it makes a pretty, I kind of look at them as flowers, flower designs. So we're going to put that as our first layer. And then we've got a piece of Melon Mambo that is 3 by 5. And we're going to use this. And then we've got a piece of, I think this is Bubble Bath. That is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. So we're going to use that. We're going to actually put our card this way. So let me just orient ourselves, because I will inevitably stamp the inside wrong if I don't. And then I've got 3 of these little postage stamps that have this flower on it that came in the kit. And I've got a piece for our outside sentiment that I cut from the Stylish Shape Dies. We're going to stamp on that here in a minute. So let's go ahead and get started. So we will put our embossed layer down first. So let's get some glue on the back of this. And I'm just going to center this up and make sure we've got the card the right, opening the right way. And we're going to center this right up here best we can. So just kind of like that. Looks pretty good. So we're going to give that a nice press. Okay, we're going to take our piece of Melon Mambo here, and let's build up our focal point. So we're going to put the Bubble Bath on the Melon Mambo. Oops, let's get this corner down here. Okay, so we're going to center this up right here. So just like that. Give that a good press. And then we're going to take some dimensionals and pop up our postage stamp things here. So let's get some, let's see, dimensionals down the center of these. And then we will just center the 3 of these up on top of our Bubble Bath piece. And we will almost be done. We got to do our stamping. And that was not a great job of being straight, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because nobody's going to see it. So I'm going to try to align these up here. So I'm just going to set that down very lightly so that I can move it if I need to. Before I commit all the way, I want to get the spacing right between the 3 of these. So we're going to put that one kind of right there. And we'll get the backs off of the last one. And let's see. Okay, so I think we might need to move our middle one over a bit. Right like that, possibly. And then we'll get this one down here. Okay, so what we're trying to do is make sure that the spacing between the three look good, as well as on each side here. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to commit to that. And then we'll take our glue and we will go ahead and put this whole piece on here. So again, centered up the best that we can. And that doesn't look too bad, so we'll go ahead and push that down. Okay, so that's good. Now let's do our stamping and we can get finished. So we're going to stamp in Melon Mambo. On the outside, on our little piece here, we're going to put Just For You, which came in the set. And then on the inside, I'm going to put, this was a stamp from a different set, just do Happy Birthday, because I wanted this to be a birthday card. So let's ink up our Just For You stamp, and we will get this lined up. If we start with it straight, hopefully we'll end up with it straight. So let's get this down just like that. We'll give that a second for the ink to transfer. And there we go. So there's our outside piece. We're going to put that right down here at the bottom. And then on the inside, we're going to do our Happy Birthday. So we'll ink this up. I'll line that up again, and we'll just put this right here. We'll give that a couple seconds to transfer. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's put this ink away. I think we're done with that. And let's go ahead and see if we've got a place to put this. Let's see. I guess we'll just slip it in right there at the bottom. So let's do flat. Since we popped our other things up, we'll just be able to slip this right in under those. So just a little bit of glue on this, and I'm going to slip that under those and center that left to right, kind of just like that. Looks pretty good, so we'll push that down. Okay, let's get our inside on the inside, and then we'll do a little bit of bling, and we will be done with this one. So this one came together relatively quickly. All right, so we'll get this down in here, center that up just like that. Okay, so there goes that. All right, now let's glue. We're going to use these pretty and let's see, strawberry slush and pink gems here. So let's get our take your pick tool. Let's see what we're going to use here. Let's use these darker colored ones. And I think I'm just going to go with two. I'm going to put one on each side of our sentiment piece. So just like that. And we're going to call that done. Okay, let's move on to our second card. So this one's a little more intricate. So we're going to be stamping in Pretty in Pink. And we've got a lot of little flower pieces that came in the kit and a bunch of greenery pieces that I cut out of the add-on dies that were for this quarter. So this little leaf piece. So, okay. So I've got a piece of, this is not basic gray. What color is this? It is, if I can remember correctly, what color is this? I get my grays confused. Gray Granite. So this is Gray Granite. 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a good burnish. And I cut off of this front side. Let's see. What did we cut? 1.5 inches. So I took 1.5 inches off the front flap. Okay. And then I've got another piece of Gray Granite that is 3.5 by, let's see, it's 3.5 by 3 and 1, 2, 3. 3 3/8, I guess. So yeah, 3 3/8, and then it's scored at 1/2 inch. So this is a 1/2 inch score on here. So let's go ahead and kind of use our bone folder to make sure that this one is laying down. So we're going to take this piece. Let's start with this. So I've got a piece of, this was one of the fronts of the card bases that was in the kit, and I cut this down to 3 1/4 by 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 6/8. And we're going to put that right here on the front of our little piece. So let's see if we've got enough glue in this to, we may be digging out a new glue. Okay, so we're going to center this up right in here. So just kind of like that. And that looks pretty good. So we're going to give that a nice press. And then on this piece, we're going to put our big flower and a couple of greenery pieces. And we also need to leave room for our sentiment. So that's going to go like right down here at the bottom. So right like that. So our flower needs to go more toward the top. So let's take some dimensionals and pop this flower up. So I'm going to put these dimensionals kind of in the middle, and I'm going to leave the outsides free so that we can tuck our greenery pieces. So let's see which way this flower goes. Let's see. I think it goes something like this. So I'm just doing this toward the upper half of the card. And then we'll take a couple of these greenery pieces and we'll get just a little bit of glue on here. And we'll just tuck these in. So we'll do one there. And we'll do another one. And we may have to, I may decide not to use all these greenery pieces, but I cut them because I thought it's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them, right? Okay, so we're going to put that like that. Okay, now, next thing we're going to do is let's do our stamping so that we can put our card together here. So let me get all these little pieces out of the way here. Put the lid on our glue. And we're going to go, okay, so it's going to go this way. We're going to stamp in our Pretty in Pink. Again, on the outside, we're going to do the same sentiment. We're going to do Just for You. So let me just clean this stamp real quick. And I'll clean our Happy Birthday as well because we're going to put that on our inside. All right, so we're going to ink this one up. And we'll line this up. And we'll get this down right here. Just like this. And give that a couple seconds. Okay, so there's our Just for You. And we'll get our Happy Birthday on the inside. Start with this straight, hopefully. And let's see, we'll get our Happy Birthday down. We'll give that a couple seconds to transfer. There we go. All right, we're going to put the ink away. I'm going to make sure I don't have any on my fingers because I don't want to get it on our white pieces. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this piece and we are going to put glue on here, and we're going to take our little piece here that we built and we're going to put glue just on this tab right here, because what we're going to do is we're going to put this down just like this. But before we commit, we're going to put this tucked under, so just on the edge of this card. Okay, so now I want to make sure that I've got this straight, so flush with the edge, and then centered top to bottom. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We're going to press this down, and see, that's going to open up, and then it's going to go like that. All right, perfect. So now we can get that kind of out of our way. And this is another piece of that same card base that I cut up. This is 2.5 by 5 1/4, and that's going to go right here on that piece. So this is going to be a mat, and we're going to build up some more of these flowers on this piece. So I'm going to take this, and we're just going to center this up on this flap. So right like that looks pretty good. So we'll give this a good press. Okay, perfect. And we got lucky in the fact that our sentiment doesn't show. So always check and make sure that's not going to show. I just got lucky because I don't think I checked. All right, now let's build up some flowers on here. So I've got 3 of these little flowers like this, and I thought we could just put those right down there in a row, and we'll go ahead and let's see, do we want to pop these up or do we want to leave them flat? I think we should leave them flat because of our flap piece here. So let's put glue right in the center of each one of these, because we want to be able to tuck our greenery under. So let's see, let's decide which way is up. So I'm gonna put that there. Now I'm not pushing very hard yet because I don't really want to commit too much. Oh, I'm almost out of glue. We may actually be out of glue. Oh, nope, there we go. Before we do that, before I put that down, I'm gonna go ahead and do some greenery, just because I don't want our first one to get too dry that I can't move it. Oh, now I got too much glue. Okay, so we're gonna just put a piece just tucked under here. So I'm gonna put a piece up there. Okay, and we'll get another piece, and we'll make sure we put the glue on the back side. Okay, now we'll put this one kind of down here, just like that, and let me get the glue off my hand. All right. Okay, now we'll take this piece. We're going to put this one in the middle, like right there. And we'll get some more greenery here. And let's see. Let's do one this side down here. And another one we'll kind of put on this edge, maybe right there. Okay, and then one more flower down here at the bottom. And we'll get our last 2 pieces of greenery here. And we'll see if we've got enough glue left to see what we can do here. So maybe right there. And one more. Last but not least. All right, we'll get this one over here. And then we will be good. So let's just make sure we've got them all on where we want them. Okay. Looks good, and then that's going to go like that. All right, let's see. Where are we going to put our Just For You piece? I guess it goes out here, doesn't it? All right, so we're going to put it out here. Cool. That way it won't be covered up. Not sure what I was thinking there for a second. So let's get our glue on this. And we're going to nestle that right down here at the bottom under our big flower. So just right like that. Except straight. There we go. Okay. So pretty. Okay. Last but not least, we need some bling. So we're going to use our same pink gems here. I think we can use the lighter pink though, not the dark ones like we used the first time. So let's get some light ones out here and see where we can put a couple of these. So right like there, and how about a smaller one? We'll do right here, and one more up here. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I think the last thing I want to do real quick is take some Wink of Stella and Stella up our flowers here, just to give them a little bit of shine. So we'll just run that over our flowers. So that one, and then our little ones here. Perfect. And one more. All right, there we go. And I will show you up close and personal how that turned out. I think we need to move this down just, there we go. A little bit straighter. Perfect. And there's our birthday card. All right, so here are our 2 cards that we did for today. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And I will be back tomorrow with our last set of alternatives for this January kit. And then we'll be moving on to February. So, that's all I have for today. So everybody have a crafty evening. Bye.